What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Nick, and I hope that you're doing well whenever you are checking out this video. As you can tell from the title and thumbnail here, this is going to be another tier list video for this channel. The previous one that I uploaded nearly a year and a half ago at this point is currently my most viewed video on YouTube, and I know a lot of you guys have been asking for me to do another tier list, so we finally are doing one today. And when I say we, I have a very special guest with me today who actually came up with this idea for this tier list here. This is my lovely girlfriend, Steph, joining me.
Hello.
And she, like I said, came up with this idea, and I thought this was a really cool one because it combines both music and TV, and for the first time on this channel, movies as well. Something that I've been wanting to discuss, but haven't really had a full idea of how to until today. So since this was your creation, would you like to tell the good folks out there what this tier list is going to be about?
Okay, so basically it's actresses and actors, and it's ones who also sing as well, and we're going to compare like who's a better singer or a better actress, and that's how this is going to go.
Yeah, so we have 5 different tiers here, and 30 different celebrities, entertainers, whatever kind of like general way you want to describe these people as, because they're not all exclusively one or the other. So what we're going to be doing is talking about their careers and kind of comparing their music and their musicianship and, you know, any songs or albums that they've put out.
Versus their acting experiences.
Yeah, and their movies and TV. So the 5 different tiers here that we have, a little bit different than your standard tier list here. At the very top, the red is going to be great singers but bad actors. So these are for people that are pretty much exclusively on music. Maybe they've done a couple movies here or there, a couple bit TV parts, but for the most part, they pretty much focus on their music.
Yeah, but some are pretty popular on acting.
Yeah.
That you might recognize them more in movies or TV shows versus them in their music if they haven't sang in a while.
Right, so that's what the lower tiers are going to represent as well. So then the orange is that they're a good singer and they're an okay actor. So a little bit more experienced in both, but primarily still with their music there. Yellow in the middle is the best spot to be. This is neutral. This is that they're equally good for both their acting and their music. So if they're really, really popular on both, they've had hit albums and hit movies or hit TV shows throughout. They're really, really talented with both different skills than they are putting in the neutral there. And then the lower 2 are the reverse. So it's good actor and okay singer. So these are more focused on the acting side of things. And then, of course, the blue tier there would be great actor. I should say great there.
Oh, these are going to be cool.
Let me fix that real quick.
Now that I'm actually reading what you have wrote.
This is technical difficulties here. All right, great actor there. All right, so yeah, those would be for the bottom tier here is like they're pretty much exclusively an actor. TV and movies is their biggest sort of claim to fame, and maybe they've released a little bit of music here and there, but it really hasn't done much to boost their career or popularity. So all of these individuals were put in alphabetical order here, so we're going to start off with the very first one here, AJ Mashaka here. I think that's how it's pronounced. I could be wrong here. For all of these, I'm going to pull up their Google so we can get a better kind of understanding of what they are. So, do you recognize her at all? I'm going to ask Steph first.
I don't have the slightest clue who the hell that is.
All right. Well, I feel like that is most people when they look at her, because I bet most people don't really know her by name, or they wouldn't really be able to pin her on anything, but I bet you that you've heard her music before or you've seen her.
I've heard of Allie and AJ from when I was really young, but I never knew who she was just by herself.
Yeah, so that is her music side is Allie and AJ. So if you've ever heard the song Potential Breakup Song, which is their biggest hit, you've probably heard it once or twice before, because it's been blowing up recently on TikTok, and it's been used in dozens and dozens of soundtracks.
I haven't heard it lately.
Different movies and
in
stuff.
The past 10 years or so.
That's one of my favorites. And Allie and AJ are still very active to this day. Like, they really started blowing up in the early 2000s, but they've released plenty of albums and plenty of EPs. Even recently, last year they put out an album and it was pretty good as well. And then for acting, for her, The Goldbergs, one of my all-time favorite TV sitcoms there. I'm not sure if you're
and again, I wouldn't
too
know
big on
anything
it,
about
but
that.
it was really, really popular. It still is, and she is one of the leads on that show. She was also the lead for its spin-off series called Schooled, which was on for 2 seasons as well a few years back. So definitely boosted her acting career in this. So for me personally, since I'm a little bit more familiar with her, I would say neutral on this. I would say that she is very, very strong with her acting. Huge hit TV show that she's been a part of for almost a decade now, and been releasing consistently great music throughout the past couple decades here. All right, the next one here is going to be Anna Kendrick here. Probably best known for Pitch Perfect and releasing the song Cups as a single from, I think, the first or second movie. I could be wrong, but that was a huge hit for her. Really, really boosted her music career in that respect. Kind of known now as a one-hit wonder, but...
I still don't know anything about her music career, so I think you're crazy on that.
Oh, she definitely, trust me, when
Just
you've definitely heard that song before.
Just because she sings in a movie does not mean she is a singer.
Yeah, well, I think I agree in that respect. Like, I wouldn't really classify her as a singer.
That's the only way that I can really judge her off of any singing is from Pitch Perfect.
Yeah, which I've never seen.
I'm gonna say
myself,
she actually does pretty well on both. I'm gonna say neutral for that because I was pretty surprised when I heard her sing.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, that's fair because...
It's my sister's favorite movie. That's the only way I know.
My dad really likes it,
My
believe it or
sister is
not.
obsessed, so...
Yeah, I've never watched it myself. But I can definitely attest to, like, the fact that she had such a big hit song and her biggest claim to fame, as far as her acting, is also a movie where she sings
She's good.
a lot.
She's
So
good.
I agree. We'll go neutral for her. All right, this one I think we're going to have some disagreements on. Ariana Grande.
Yeah, okay, well, I was literally just on Facebook last night, and I came across a skit of her acting in something, and I suck with anything that is Disney or Nickelodeon or whatever she was from.
Yeah,
when she was younger.
Nickelodeon.
Okay, well,
Victorious.
I do not know her acting abilities really at all, but for the tiny little skit that I did, it was just weird because I know her more as a singer, so
Yeah.
I would guess I would say more of great singer for sure because
Yeah.
she got a very strong-willed voice.
Yeah, so this is where, like I said, I think we're going to disagree because I grew up with Victorious. Most people watching this channel know that I was a big fan of Nickelodeon and Dan Schneider growing up, and of course Victorious was one of his biggest shows from back in the day, and Ariana Grande, that's kind of where she started her career as just being a celebrity. But I do agree with Steph in the idea that, like, since then, I think Victorious, comparably to, like, Drake and Josh or iCarly, this is actually something I was talking with my buddy Mike about a few days ago at work. We both agreed that, like, it was a good show for its time, but it hasn't really stood the test of time or hasn't really aged all that well. Looking at it for 2021, it's just, it doesn't really hit the same way as it did from when I was growing up. But her music, on the other hand, she has just become, like, a superstar in that respect. Yeah, like, every single top 40 radio station has one of her songs going at some point.
Yeah, and I like a lot of her music a hell of a lot more than anything, but my favorite would be Rain with her versus Lady Gaga.
Rain on Me.
I love that song, and I just heard it for, like, the first time maybe a few months ago.
Yeah.
And now it's just, like, just my top favorite one.
Yeah, I mean, popularity-wise, like, there's no question. She is one of the biggest, like, just names from this entire list. So we're going to go at the very top here, Blood Red with this one. Great singer, just because she is, like, dominating the music world.
I'm not going to say the best out of the whole tier list.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that
Yeah.
because
One
there's
of the
other
biggest
people
just
who I like
popularity.
more than her.
Oh, I do too, but just, like, popularity-wise.
There's a lot
like,
of popularity names in here, so I'm not going to go with that either.
Alright, we'll come back to that kind of a little bit later. Alright, next up here we have Ashley Tisdale, probably best known for being from Disney Channel from back in the day.
Of course.
Kind of where she started, so the opposite.
Again, I wouldn't know anything about. I mean, I knew she was from it, but that was it. I didn't know name of the show or anything or how long she was on it or if she was an actress before a singer singer, or whichever way it went.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, this is probably the one that we collectively are the least familiar with because, like I just said, I was more of a Nickelodeon
I'm
guy.
just gonna say she's
you
a
didn't
better.
really watch Disney.
I'm gonna say she's a better actress than singer because I haven't really heard much of her music.
Yeah, I agree here. I know that she was from Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, which was one of the biggest Disney shows back in the day. And a lot of Disney stars make the transition to music eventually, just because that's just kind of the quota for when you start at Disney. It seems like you just become a musician later. But comparably to a lot of the other ones that have transitioned, like Selena Gomez or Miley Cyrus or Demi, which we'll talk about a little bit later, like Ashley Tisdale just doesn't have the name recognition as those other folks when it comes to her music.
I don't think she's on top of that stardom as much as those.
Yeah.
Maybe she hasn't done as much in her life. Well, she did, honestly, right now. She just had a baby, so there's that.
So
maybe
she's probably taking
some time away.
Yeah, I was going to say taking some time off, but I think we agree that her acting when she was on Disney is a much stronger suit for her than any of her music. All right, another one that you could argue is arguably the biggest just entertainer on this entire list, Beyonce here.
Okay, she's only acted in a couple of things. A small skit in Goldmember, and then she's done a movie with a couple of other people. I like her more as a singer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to argue it. Like, for me personally, you guys know, well, I don't know if I've ever publicly mentioned this on the channel, but I know you know that Austin Powers is like my favorite movie franchise of all time. I just absolutely love
my favorite
anything
too,
Austin
specifically
Powers.
With Goldmember.
Yeah, and Goldmember is fantastic, and Beyonce does a great job in that. So, and like, I can respect a lot of her music, and I can understand why a lot of people like it, especially coming from Destiny's Child, of course, where she kind of started and then became
Which they
solo.
opened up for Backstreet Boys in, I think it was the early 2000s or late 90s or something, and I was at that concert.
Yeah,
so
you've seen her live, so
pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, so that's really awesome, actually. So, because like for me, I was gonna say, I don't really connect with her music as much. Like
I like her music
very much recently with like a lot of her more political stuff. Like Lemonade was one of the biggest albums of the last few years, and
I can't even name an album. Am I that bad?
Yeah,
I know her music better than her albums.
Yeah, like she's more of a singles kind of musician.
Yeah,
I feel
like
so.
Single Ladies.
Yeah, well that's probably one of her biggest songs. But,
it's a great song.
But like for me, just as who I am, I'm not, a black woman, so it's hard for me to connect with her music in the same way as a lot of other people, because the topics that she discusses are, like, very relevant to a certain demographic and a certain, culture and stuff.
I don't even know that kind of stuff. All I know is she sings really good.
Yeah, fair enough, so... Yeah, we're going to go at the top with her. No disrespect to her acting whatsoever. We both really like it, but definitely much so, like, just from
more,
what you know for her.
Yeah, just more common with the music, that's all.
All right, we had some controversy earlier when I put this one on the list. Billie Joe Armstrong. I'll let you speak first.
I'm still really confused why he is even an option on here, because I don't know anything that he's ever acted in. So I'm going to say Nick's a little crazy on this one.
Well, you know Green Day, of course.
Yes, of course. I've grown up to that band, basically, so...
Yeah. Everyone watching this is familiar that I love Green Day. They're my favorite band of all time, so I have no problems if you want to try to argue that he's exclusively a singer and he doesn't really do acting, but it's not necessarily true.
I don't want to argue. It's just I've never heard of anything of him acting anywhere, ever.
He did, so I have two examples of how he did it. So the first one, the album American Idiot, which was their biggest album of all time, essentially. They made a Broadway show for it shortly after the album was released. So the album came out in 2004, and the Broadway show was debuted in like 2006 or something, a couple years after. And for the first few performances in Oakland, where the band is from, Billie Joe Armstrong was one of the lead actors in the Broadway musical version of it. And he got a lot of acclaim for that, and that was like one of his first real big kind kind of steps outside of the music world to do something a little bit more
and
spectacular
maybe some
with his
people
music.
should not do that and stick to only their music.
Yeah, well, it's hard to judge because
Like,
Broadway is one of those things that you really have to see in person to
Yeah.
really get the full grasp of it.
I'm not
But-
arguing saying anything. It's just I only know him from music. I didn't
Yeah.
know that there was a Broadway thing.
Yeah. Well, there was that. So that was the first kind of thing that he did when he first started acting. And then more recently in 2016, he did a movie called Ordinary World, which was kind of a tie-in to...
And why would you not have brought that to my attention?
Because I figured you knew that.
Why would I know that?
Because it was a really popular movie.
I've never even heard of it.
I guess you just weren't looking in the right place. No, it was a movie that was tied into their album Revolution Radio.
Again, I don't even know the name of his. I don't even know the name of their CDs, except for
and
American
you're
Idiot.
not a big Green Day fan, then.
No.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to argue with you because I agree that like Green Day just as a name is way bigger than any of their movies or anything.
I can't honestly
so.
name like 5 different albums.
Yeah, so we're going to go great singer with him as well.
Sure.
I would probably put him in Orange personally because I really like a lot of his acting stuff and the movies that he's made, but I can understand.
I'm still very confused on that.
All right. I'm going to let you take this one solo. Demi Lovato, you have just been obsessed with her lately the last few months, so
well, I mean,
since
her overdose and everything that she had a few years back, and then she came out with this biography thing that was on YouTube, and then I was just going crazy with watching that, just binging it basically every time a new video would come out. And I know a tiny bit of her acting, not really too much, but I do like her singing way more, and I do respect her, and she is the most honest person that is out there, really, who is very front forward with any kind of eating disorders or drinking, drugs, whatever, maybe the cause in that life or whatever. And she's been just very straightforward with it, so I have a lot of respect and love for her.
Yeah, there is an argument that her acting is way underrated than people give her credit for, because I heard
I'm sure it is underrated because I've seen a couple of skits here and there. I'm not gonna say I know her that well from it.
From what I've heard, she wants to take a break from the touring and the music side of things, because the music industry has just been really rough on her, man. She's gone through a lot.
Yeah, it's rough on a lot of people.
So it sounds like she wants to transition out of that, and she's making a movie right now, as we speak.
I know, because this little picture right here, she just did a sex scene, and she was talking about her body confidence.
I literally saw that on Twitter the other day, and I was like,
and I literally just saw it last night, and I was like, oh, I wonder what she acting in.
Yeah, so I thought that was cool.
So I'm excited for whatever this is going to be, this other part of her career, because I want to see how she acts now versus how she acted when she was a young teen.
Yeah, on Disney Channel.
Yeah, I want to compare.
Camp Rock and that stuff. And she's a child actor. She was on Barney and Friends. Do you know that?
Yeah,
That's how she got her
from
start.
when she was doing her autobiography thing that was on YouTube. She was talking about that a tiny bit too, gone all the way back from the very beginning to now.
Yeah.
And so it also talked about how she got to bulimia and, being not really self-conscious, but how women are with their bodies because of publicity and everything.
Yeah.
And how you have to look perfect and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And I think it's sad that there's people out there who even have to think that way.
Yeah. Well, that's what, because, again, she's a child actress, so that's what a lot of them go through is, just being in that industry.
It's very
for so
sad
long.
that you have to grow up that way or feel you have to.
But, if we're just talking about the quality of her work and stuff, I'd argue she's Orange. I think that she's definitely strong with her music. That's definitely what she'll always be recognized for, but her acting is certainly solid, and I think
good
definitely
actor, okay,
deserves
but she's she's a great singer, though.
All right, next up here, someone that, first of all, we have to give our credence to R.I.P., this man. He was taken from us way too soon earlier this year. Truly a legend in pretty much everything that he did, movies and music, of course, and that is the legend himself, DMX here. Steph, big fan of him when she was growing up, so I'll let her speak on him first.
Yeah,
DMX here.
we are talking about DMX,
Yeah.
and yeah, I've loved his music from, I don't know, probably like my mid-teens.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would say I've seen a couple of movies of his as well. He's actually, I'd say, very strongly on both.
Yeah.
And I am sad that he had passed. Rest in peace.
Yeah, for sure.
But I guess I go a little bit more with his music than his acting. I don't know. It's hard.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe
like,
neutral.
it depends how you, like, it
Yeah.
kind of depends on where you,
you have
grew
to-
up with him, kind
Yeah.
of. Like, you are very nostalgic for him on both sense, so you feel like
Yeah,
he did.
I just
good on both, yeah.
I guess had paid more attention like during my teens of like his acting and his rapping,
Yeah.
and I really
There's a lot of, like, that.
I did really like both, but it just seems like I guess off the top of my head I know his rapping a little more.
Yeah, I think that's what he's recognized for more. Because, like,
Yeah.
I know when a lot of people were paying tribute to him when he passed away, like, you know, most people are going to recognize him as a rapper first rather than an actor.
Yeah,
so they're going to give him
that's gonna
credence.
be like
But
the first thing that comes.
do not underestimate his acting ability by any means. Because, like, a lot of the most iconic, you know,
Oh, yeah,
hip-hop movies
great.
of the early 2000s featured him very prominently. So,
Yeah, he's
in that
great.
respect. So we're going to go orange for him. Definitely a little more leaning towards his rapping ability,
Yeah.
but still very much a solid actor there.
Mhm.
All right, this next one here, I think I might have to man this one solo here. Donald Glover,
Yeah, he doesn't
also known
even
as
look.
Childish
He
Gambino.
doesn't even look familiar to me at this minute.
Yeah, so I think I'll go on this one.
Yeah, no idea who that is. Sorry.
So this is another one that, like, with AJ, when we were talking about way before, you probably have heard one or two songs by him, or you've seen him in something, but you maybe don't recognize him.
I am
offhand.
not recognizing him
He's
at all.
probably best known as an actor for the most part, for lots of different TV shows that he's done, like Community and most recently Atlanta, which has gained tons of critical acclaim. But personally for me, this is going to be controversial, but I'm going straight up blood red with him. I really have never found anything of his acting to be that interesting. I've never really found him to be that funny, honestly. Community is a show that I have respect for a lot of the talent behind it, like Dan Harmon, of course, and Joel McHale is great. Of course, Donald Glover as well on that show. But just the execution of a lot of the writing and directing just isn't really my style. And then I've never seen Atlanta, so I can't really judge on that. But I will say his music is some of the best that I think he's putting out in the rap game right now, comparable to any other hip-hop artist or R&B artist of the last, like, 20 years. He definitely deserves, like, high marks for just his production, his writing. Technical ability is just, like, amazing on all accounts. If you haven't heard 31520, which was the album that he put out last year, it was in my top 3 albums of the year, up there with Polo G and Juice WRLD and The Weeknd as well. And again, just like when you compare him to all the other rappers out there or R&B singers right now, he is easily to that level, if not exceeding that, with every project that he drops. So for me personally, I'm going to say he's a great singer and not so much on the acting, but I know that's going to be controversial. So if you disagree, please let us know in the comments there. Okay. Next up here, someone that you are very familiar with in some ways, and I am very familiar with in other ways. This is Mr. Dylan Minnette here.
And that's so funny because I know him by his face, but I really did not recognize him by his name.
Yeah, another one that, like, he's definitely famous, but not really like a household name or anything
No,
like that.
he's more of a Netflix type fella.
Yeah.
13 Reasons Why, of course.
Mm-hmm.
If you recognize that fella. He's my favorite on that show. I definitely just know him from that. I don't know him from really too much else. Maybe a couple of other movies that I came across.
Yeah, if you ever, I don't know if you saw it, but the Goosebumps movie from like 2015 with Jack Black, he was one of the leads
I
in
don't
that
think
as well.
I saw it.
Which, that was pretty good.
It doesn't sound familiar.
Yeah. Well, 13 Reasons Why, of course, probably his most dominant, project or role that he's taken a part of.
The thing that is funny is when I become a fan of an actor and actress that is like now in like this decade, I will recognize them from movies that I watched when I was way younger, or if I'm just coming across something on Amazon Prime or whatnot, or Hulu or whatever, and I'll see their face, and then I'll have to watch it because I want to see what they were like when they acted when they were younger.
Right.
Just to kind of compare, like, see how much they've grown and whatever.
Yeah.
And I did see one when he was way younger, and I thought it was adorable.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about, again, these child stars is, like, seeing their progression.
How far they've come,
Yeah, for sure. And then transitioning to his music as well, lead singer of the band Wallows.
Which you introduced to me because I had no idea anything about.
Yeah, very much like similar to a lot of indie pop, indie rock bands of nowadays, like, kind of like Bad Flower or 1975 or something like that. Yeah. I really like it. It's definitely something that I have a lot of respect for him for making that leap, because he definitely could just coast off of the success that he's had with 13 Reasons Why for a while, and he doesn't really have to commend himself to these big projects, but he's taking
he's
that
great
transition.
at it, and I'm glad he took up that role.
Yeah, super talented in that respect.
Yeah.
So for me personally, I would say he goes in green. I think he's our first green of the day here. Good actor, and his music is definitely still solid, but it's just not as prominent.
Okay.
So I think that's fair for him. Yeah, definitely check out some of his stuff. If you only know him as an actor, go check out some stuff from Wallows there. Next up here, another one you could argue is the biggest celebrity of them all, Mr. Marshall Mathers here, Eminem.
A.K.A. Eminem.
Yeah, go ahead and take this one.
I love Eminem, and I have listened to him from my teens to now. But I would say his music now is not as good as it was in the beginning. Maybe because he's just not so violent with his words. Because he had a lot of pretty
Stan and
his lyrics were very wow, and he had a lot of hate for his on and off
controversy.
Yeah, like a lot of it was just pretty deep. And I love how he did sing songs that had to do with his daughter, though. So it showed that he did have love for his child, but still wasn't there as much, but would try to be.
Yeah.
But his acting as well, on top of that, 8 Mile, that was a really good movie. And of course he did some of his rapping in that to kind of bring you into both sides there.
Yeah, so I have a confession.
I like both.
As an Eminem fan and as a Michigan resident, I've never watched 8 Mile. I've never seen it.
Oh, well, this boy's gonna have some trouble.
So I can't judge. So the only real acting, if you can even count this, is his cameo from The Interview.
I don't even know what that is.
I think I've shown you that. It's like the clip where he pretends that he's coming out as being gay. I showed you that before.
Not, I don't remember.
It was like a little cameo he did for this movie, but
well, you really need to see 8 Mile then.
Yeah, I know. That's definitely a movie that's always
I'm not saying
intrigued me.
I'm not saying I highly recommend it, but if you just want to see his real acting side, go for it.
Yeah, obviously it's an autobiography of him.
It's great.
Very interesting.
It's great.
So
yeah.
But I think with this one, it's kind of clear where he goes.
I do like his rap more.
Yeah.
A bit.
I think he goes way at the top with this because his music will always forever be what he's known for, of course,
and part of what he is.
Yeah, and like you said, his newer stuff, some people aren't really as fond of it as some of his stuff from the 90s.
I used to keep on top of every time a new album would come out of his. I would just be that kind of person, but then some of his new music had came out, and I was just a little thrown off by it. Hey, where's that hardcore, vicious kind of Eminem at? Where's he go?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
it's kind of like, I know that he was getting a lot of controversy and stuff on, like, some of his lyrics, and they wanted to, like, take his music off air completely.
Yeah. Yep.
And I didn't like that, so maybe that was why he changed it. So I'll give him respect.
You gotta keep up with the trends, because, like, a lot of rappers nowadays.
For that, so he's still capable of singing and everything, and still bringing his music out there.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to, like, any hip hop corner online, like from TikTok or YouTube or Twitter, like, you'll find dozens and dozens of people arguing all day about new Eminem versus old Eminem, and, like, that's a debate you could have.
I get it, but
years and years.
I don't want to be in a debate. No,
really. Too exhausting, right?
It is.
He's good all around. You know? He's still very consistent.
Yeah, in my head, I still got love.
So we're gonna go red there for him. All right, next up here,
You're taking on.
I'm sorry in advance for if I butcher this chick's name, but Haley Orantia? Arania, maybe?
Arantia?
Well, there's a T in there, so...
Arantia, yeah. It's gotta be Arantia.
Yeah, something like that. I've actually never heard it be pronounced, honestly, which is weird, because I've been a fan of her for a long time.
I've never heard of her, so I can't tell you jack.
So, similar to AJ before, she's also from the Goldbergs. She plays Erica, and that's probably what she's best known for, just because she hasn't really been... like around for all that long. Like, that was really the first thing that a lot of people, or that she was, like, kind of catapulted into the spotlight for, was her role in the Goldbergs.
Funny, the first time seeing that little picture of her for this tier list, I seriously thought that she was Alexis Bledel.
Yeah, they kind of look...
They have a little bit of a similarity. Sorry.
Yeah. But, yeah.
That's why I thought I knew who it was for a second until I saw the name.
Yeah. Like, she does acting and singing, right?
Alexis. Nah, I don't think so.
Oh.
She's just known as Rory on Gilmore Girls.
That's like so the just top. Acting,
and like Sisterhood and Traveling Pants or whatever that movie was.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to Haley here. So Goldberg's definitely propelled her into the spotlight, like I said. And since then, she's been able to do a lot of singing and kind of release some stuff just when she wants to, right? She doesn't have any, like, strict guidelines for that. She's not part of any bands. She's not really working with a ton of super, super well-known people. So a lot of it's independent, and she can just do it whenever she feels like. And I have a lot of respect for that in the sense that it's not really... something that she's, like, super, super committed to, but she still has a passion and, you know, a desire to make it happen, which is really cool. And a lot of her stuff, admittedly, isn't for me personally, because it's mostly, like, delving into some genres that I'm not super fond of, like country music. Like, I think you would be into her music a little bit more.
Yeah,
because it's that, like, softer side. And
I'll have to look into it after this.
Yeah, so for me personally, I would say she's pretty much exclusively acting. I would put her down with Ashley Tisdale here, because I just love her on the Goldbergs so much, but I'm just not really that big on her music all that much, so I say she goes down there.
It's all you there. Yeah. I can't say anything.
All right. Following her, we have Hilary Duff here.
I love Hilary Duff.
Another Disney star.
Absolutely adore her.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I've been a big fan of hers. Again, I am not that Nickelodeon or Disney kind of person, so I never watched any shows off of either of those channels. Not like that. I don't watch that kind of stuff. But I've watched her and known her music for probably as long as I can think.
Yeah.
Like, I know, like, in the early, like, 2005-ish was when there were a lot of movies of hers that I really started to like, and then I just, like, kept on top of her. She's really the only Disney actress that I don't know, pretty much stayed pretty true to herself and didn't become, like, really whorish or anything. Kind of like Miley Cyrus kind of went downhill a little bit.
Like, yeah.
Like,
we'll talk about her later.
I love that she is just still who she is. Sweet, kind, caring, really good actress and singer.
Very genuine person.
Yeah, she's just very true to herself. Kind of like Demi Lovato in that matter.
Yeah.
But I really... I love, honestly, it's hard to say. I guess I would have to say she's more neutral.
Yeah.
Because I love her music, and I love her music more now, specifically. But she still has some good songs from when she was younger as well. But I really I can't say one is better than the other.
For me, the only extent to my knowledge of her is that she was on Lizzie McGuire, which is the Disney show. I used to watch that a lot.
I know so many movies of hers that I can't even...
But I do agree that, like, just her voice alone, like, she has a very powerful singing voice, and like, really, really, like, technically, talented in that respect.
And I follow her on Instagram, and she's, like, posting every day. Yeah. And I just love that I can just keep up with her one way or another.
Yeah, she has a very, very big social, media presence.
Yeah,
that's the other
thing,
too.
I love that, because it's, like, the only way that the fans can really keep intact during this COVID crap.
Fair enough. So
I love it.
Yeah, so we're going to go neutral for her. All right, next up, the king himself, man, Ice Cube. If you're a fan of rap or hip-hop at all and you don't like Ice Cube, I can't take you seriously.
I'm not going to say he's king, but whatever.
Oh, come on. He's a legend.
I'm not going to...
basically invented gangster rap.
In my opinion, he's not king to me. I'm not saying I don't like him, but he's not my favorite.
I think this is one that we're going to disagree with also, because I have a feeling that you probably would argue that he's a better actor, even though I know that's not true.
I mean, I know he's got rap music out there, but I'm going to put it out there, I don't really know much of it.
Yeah. You never listen to NWA or anything, or...
I'm just
like solo
okay.
Stuff
This is a part of me people need to understand. There is music out there where I'll listen to it, but I won't know who it is or what the name of the song is or whatever. And I'm pretty sure that's what this case is. He has the music out there. I probably listened to it, and then you're throwing a name at me, and I'm not recognizing the name. Doesn't mean I haven't heard of it. It just means I just clearly am that kind of a person that doesn't know the name of the song and don't know who it's by.
Well, I guess
but it doesn't mean that there's not something out there that I don't like. I'm sure there is. I just don't know that's him.
If you want to talk about his acting, though, it's just like...
I've seen his acting.
Yeah.
And I've seen his acting, and he was actually in... If I'm not mistaken, he was in some kind of comedian movie. It was kind of like a funnier side of him. And
he's made some good comedies.
Yeah, so I'm going to say, I think I just like his acting a little more, because that's what I'm familiar with.
See, I knew you were going to say that, which is just like... Well, okay, here's the thing. There's two sides to his acting, though. Because you have, like, his old school, like, Boys in the Hood and stuff, which is classic.
No, there was something...
But then you have, like, his modern stuff, or, like... Once he made the jump to, like, family-friendly stuff, like, Are We There Yet? And stuff.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, see, that is the kind of stuff that, like, completely, like, I don't know. You have to, like, segregate that stuff when you're talking about Ice Cube.
It throws off your whole game of, like, who he is.
Because that's not really what he was doing.
How can you go through, like, a gangster movie to some funny shit?
Well, that's what I'm saying, is, like, when you made that transition, like, I don't know. To me,
that's what I know.
Just being such a big fan of like NWA and stuff, and like his old like '90s, like him and Compton and all the beefs that he had with the other members of NWA, like that is like Ice Cube to me. Like when you see this picture, bro, and he's like menacing and stuff, like he knows he's gonna fuck you up, man. And then you can't just like take that and be like, oh, he would work really well in a family-friendly kids movie. You know?
I think he took that jump at a risk.
Well, I just feel like he sold out with that, but I will give him credit for his acting, like especially back in the day with like Friday and Boys in the Hood. Like those are just classics, like all around. So I guess you want to say neutral for him because you're gonna argue more acting overall, and I would say music, but. I guess we can say neutral in that respect.
No, I mean, if you know him a little better than I do, then it's fine.
Okay, we'll put him there. We'll put him in orange, because he's like DMX in that respect.
I guess it's a little fair. He's a bit of both.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to disrespect his acting by any means, but, like, you can't tell me that he wasn't a super iconic, just legendary figure in the world of rap.
I
and
guess I
hip-hop.
just
Like,
don't see him
just
that
had
way.
so much,
but I
you know,
know his name as a
influence,
rapper.
so.
I know
Yeah.
that name.
This is another good one for us here, kind of in a similar lane here. Ice-T. This one.
Again, I don't think I really know his rapping that well, and he's been out way before acting for sure.
Yeah, oh yeah, he was around since
I'm
the
pretty
80s,
sure I've
for
heard
sure.
something, but I just couldn't get into it. I like his acting more, straight up.
Yeah, well, of course, everyone knows him for Law and Order SVU, which is something that we've talked about on this channel.
If you don't
But
know him,
even outside of that, though, like I love Ice-T. I pretty much like love everything that he's done for both his music and acting. But see, for me, I would say neutral here because I think a lot of his music gets slept on, honestly. A lot of what he did way back in the day in the 80s was very similar to the Ice Cube in the sense that it was very hardcore. It was, that, well, he's not from Compton, but he's New York, obviously. But he's like, had that very like gangsta sound to him, and he took a lot of influence from that. But then he transitioned to rock and metal with Body Count, and that's where he really skyrocketed
Okay, now
for
I
his
don't
music.
know what you're talking about. I don't know anything about that.
Oh yeah, Body Count, like that's massive for Ice-T. That's like one of his foundations.
You're one of those true rapper people who just stay on top of.
Well, I'm just a fan of Ice-T in general. Like I will literally watch him or like listen to his stuff from back in the day, and then could watch him on a talk show with his wife, Coco. They had that very, very short-lived talk show with them.
And his daughter is a splitting image of him.
Dude, yeah, right there. Like it's just crazy.
Oh my god! Because again, I was just on Twitter now, not Instagram, and I saw a picture of her, and I was just like, oh my god, could not be more true.
Yeah. Speaking of Twitter, if you are not following Ice-T on Twitter, you got to get on that. He has maybe the best Twitter page of any celebrity that I follow. Like
There's
he just
so much
spits
stuff
truth
on my
every
Twitter,
single day.
I
It's so
might
good.
just skid right past it, might not even realize it.
And I think actually this is the other thing I was gonna talk about too. Is I think he's the only person on this entire list that's won Grammys and Emmys for his acting and his music.
That's awesome.
Too. So I think for that alone, we got to put him in neutral, right? We got to, yeah. I mean, I could be wrong on that, but I know he's definitely won a Grammy for Body Count because he just won it this year, like the most recent album that he put out. And I'm sure he's at least been nominated, if not won, for SVU or some of his other stuff.
I mean, the show alone.
Yeah, the show as a whole has won Emmys for sure. I know that. So, all right, Jack Black, one of my favorites, hands down. One of my all-time favorite, just like entertainers in general.
Okay, again, this is probably going to be a little more Nick here than me, because I don't really know his singing that well, which I still think sounds crazy.
I think you would recognize Tenacious D. Some of the, like, tribute you have to know.
I
Like,
don't think, I've never seen the movie, for sure.
No, not the movie, it's a song.
Oh, then, no, I don't know.
I guess you
See, then clearly that says
Well,
it right
okay,
there.
let me ask you this, because he's been in a ton of different movies. If you just ask someone what their favorite Jack Black movie is, you get a ton of different answers. So what's yours? What's best recognized him from?
School of Rock.
Yeah, because I was going to say School of Rock.
Because
That's
I know,
always been my favorite.
I'm pretty sure he's singing that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So that's, like, the only singing I know of him.
Yeah. Well, he's been doing the singing way before School of Rock. Like,
I'm just saying,
Tenacious D, you can see down here since '94.
I've never known him from singing at all.
Yeah.
Ever.
Gotta get with it, babe.
Maybe I want to.
It's very, like, he goes very over the top with it. And
I
like,
have other people that are more important to me to concentrate on.
I know. Different styles. Well, it's more like rock and metal, which I know isn't really
I'm not saying I don't,
as much your speed.
I don't not like him. He's not a horrible person or anything at all, whatever. I like him just more as an actor, obviously. 'Cause I don't know
Well, I
him.
would argue that, too, because even though I do like Tenacious D and I have respect for him, like, acting is, like, by far his biggest strength.
And he's a well-known name.
The thing that I was going to say was, like, the style of acting he does, too, because you got School of Rock, where it's very, like, comedic and stuff, and it's very, like, verbal. Then you got stuff like Nacho Libre, which was, like, very physical slapstick stuff.
That was awful.
Oh, you didn't like
I
Nacho
hated
Libre?
that.
Come on, man.
That.
That's a classic.
No, then there's Shallow Hal.
Shallow Hal, that's a great movie. That's hilarious.
Man,
With
sure.
Gwyneth Paltrow. That movie is hilarious.
Damn, was he shallow in that.
And then, I don't know if you knew this, but Kung Fu Panda, he does the voice too.
Oh,
so
yeah.
voice acting, you got to check that off.
Yeah, he does really
so
good with
just
the
super
voice.
talented actor. So I would say Green. I'd put him next to Dylan there. Because I
ahead.
think you got to respect his name in the music world, but definitely acting is like where everyone just has a lot of fun with him.
Tenacious
Yeah.
D was a movie. I did not know that.
I think it might have. Oh well, there is a movie tied with it actually, but it was.
Well,
it
then
was
that's
based
what I
on
was thinking.
Yeah, that's fair. And correct me if I'm wrong also in the comments, but I believe he also had a show based on Tenacious D with his bandmate, and I believe it was on HBO, but I could be wrong on that. I'm not 100%. But I'm pretty sure there was a TV show also based on Tenacious D, so that name has carried him a long way in both the music world and the acting world for sure. So lots of fun there with Jack.
Okay, boring. Next.
Here, you take this one here. Mr. Jamie Foxx, another legend in pretty much everything that he does
Okay.
in that respect.
I just really know his acting more.
Yeah. From what specific, like his sitcom or some movies that, I mean, he's done everything like that you could imagine, but he's a host for like plenty of different TV shows and talk shows.
Okay, I don't know
like,
anything about that.
Yeah. But you probably know him from his movies, right? Like,
Yeah, and that's pretty much the only thing I know him from.
yeah. I know his, like, acting for sure is definitely a strength of his, with his sitcom, The Jamie Foxx Show, which was massive in the 90s, ran for
I didn't
5
even know
seasons. Oh yeah, he totally, like, huge for him really like propelling his career and really giving him a lot of opportunity. But then recently he's done stuff like Baby Driver, which has been really big for him. He's going to be in the new Spider-Man movie, I heard, so he's just had a ton of like different opportunities.
Law-Abiding Citizen, that movie specifically, is pretty damn good.
Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of the like action movie type stuff. That
Yeah, and
too.
I love action, so there you go on that one.
Yeah, but he's also done like Horrible Bosses he was in, and Annie he was in, like the family stuff. So again, similar to Jack Black.
And apparently Jarhead as well.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I do know that movie because I am a Jake Gyllenhaal fan.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, so I think acting is definitely his strongest.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you can't disrespect his, like, a lot of his acting roles, like I was just saying, Annie as well, kind of have some musical tinge to it as well. Just as, like, I don't know what you want to call it, kind of like a feature artist, I guess you could argue. Like, just someone who's there. He doesn't ever have, like, a commanding presence on his music, but he's always, like, just, there to hype up other people, like... If you listen to, like, Gold Digger or something by Kanye and him, like, you know, he's not really the main, you know, star of it, but he's definitely a big presence there.
I don't know any singing of him at all.
You know Gold Digger. I know you know that song.
It doesn't
for
sound
sure.
familiar.
Well, yeah, we're not listening to it. It's Kanye.
Oh, but what I'm just saying is, wait, how old is it?
It's from, like, 2004.
I might really not know it.
I guess he is kind of another person where you could argue, like, you kind of don't know all of his music because acting is such a bigger draw for him.
I guess.
But, so I would argue that he's another green, personally, but if you want to say blue, that's fine.
Whichever, you're on that one.
All right, we'll say green for him because he definitely has more recognizability with his music than these two. But
sure, I guess. I do not know his music, though.
Oh, I will play some of it for you.
Yeah, that's more you.
Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Give me a blank.
The funny thing about him is, for the longest time, I really thought that he was only an actor. And then, my sister, who is a big, like, music hog, she was, like, listening to some music or whatever, and I had found out that he was in a band, and I was just like, wait, what?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was just really confused, and obviously I was in my teens at the time. And, I don't know, I guess my sister's more of the music person than me, so she introduced me to a lot of stuff, and that was how I found out about him.
Yeah.
So then I was just shocked that he had done music and acting.
Yeah, 30 Seconds to Mars.
But the funny thing is, like, I do know the music really well. I do. And I do know his acting really well. But it's just so completely different.
Yeah, it is.
It is. Wow.
Yeah, he's a great character actor. Like he will definitely take a lot of precision for his roles. And
I never even would have thought it was the same person.
Yeah. Well, and then his band too, like 30 Seconds to Mars was big in like the emo and like pop punk type days, early 2000s.
So he's really good at mo. I would go with neutral.
I would say neutral as well here. The thing that I was gonna say with him though is like he's probably the only person on this list that I would argue neutral, only because I'm not really too big on any like thing that he does. I can respect it, and there are a couple songs here and there, maybe a movie or two that's okay for me, but compared to like everyone else, I think everyone else on this board has like a song, an album, a show, or a movie that I love in some capacity. But Jared Leto is the only one where it's like
I can't really say
I just
something
can't
I
really
love.
get into it. Yeah, exactly. But I still have a lot of respect for him, and Steph is absolutely right that she is like that he is like totally talented in both respects there.
Yep. Yes.
You already know.
I
don't have to say anything.
You just gave me that look.
One.
Okay, Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah.
I absolutely love her. I really grew up on her music and movies. This is just really hard for me because I don't know. Like, I've seen her a little bit more lately. Obviously, she's on it with both constantly, and there's not a time where I can say she's doing her music more than her movies, because in the middle of her breaks of her concerts, she's doing movies and whatnot, and it's constantly back to back.
Yeah, super heavy work ethic from her. Like, she does not slow down for anything.
Yeah, she is just straight up amazing. I would say her love life though is insane. But
that's a roller coaster.
Set that aside. She is a great person. She has a great relationship with her kids. Great actress, great singer, great everything. I would say neutral.
Yeah, I agree. I think for me personally, like, the thing that I've always respected about her is that she's just multi-talented in general. Like, we need a slot on the tier list for best dancer.
Honestly,
because she can dance her ass off, man. Like,
and that booty.
Yeah, well, there's that too. But like, have you ever seen World of Dance? She's a judge on that, and that's like a perfect role for her.
Yeah,
like,
but I mean,
she's super great in that respect, where she has like she's so experienced in everything that she could be a really good mentor to somebody. You know what
she
I mean?
really
like,
could
give good advice for people.
She'd be a great trainer or whichever.
Yeah, but I agree. Like, neutral. Like, we've gone to see a lot of her movies in the last couple of years since we started dating.
I've just always watched her movies from the get-go. I've loved seeing the second there was a movie that had her name on it. I was there for it.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously they're not all going to be like 10 out of 10 perfect.
No,
just
but
the quantity.
It was just like the fact that she can do comedian kind of movies. She can do comedy movies, and she can do like
serious.
She can do a lot like of the harder kind of movies that are more I don't know,
serious and dramatic.
Serious
She's done a lot of like thrillers and stuff like that.
Yeah, and she's really good at splitting that up with both.
Yeah.
So
and then another person that kind of is that same way, just done a ton of different variety stuff, and another fantastic dancer, coincidentally, Justin Timberlake here.
Yeah, well, he did a movie a while ago, if I'm not mistaken, and it was something that was a little more, not something I would imagine of him,
like,
per se.
Little unexpected in there.
Yeah, oh crap.
The thing that
Alpha Dog
is interesting about Justin Timberlake is I think we would have different opinions in terms of like where his peak was as far as his career, because you grew up with him from the 90s as like part of NSYNC and his solo music like Sexy Back, and when that dropped, dude, if you were there at the time, like early 2000s, he was on top of the world. He was everywhere.
Well, speaking of on top of the world, when he was in NSYNC, I went to a concert, so again, I've seen him in action.
Yeah.
But again, that was before he was solo. But he was still rocking it.
For sure, yeah. And like even now, like his more recent stuff too, like Gold or not. I was gonna say
Oh, he sings that amazing
like
song for Trolls.
Well, okay, amazing is a bit of a stretch.
It's a great song. I'm sorry, I love it. It's just like a happy song.
Yeah, I mean it's catchy. It's
happy.
I give you that.
I like it. I love it.
It's like Pharrell Williams and
it kind of makes you just want to get up and dance. Well, maybe in a girl version.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
But so for you, it'd definitely be more music related stuff, and then.
But I do like him as an actor too.
And then for acting, it's interesting because like then he made the transition in like the early 2010s or so, where he started doing
movie,
Social Network, and
he did the movie Friends with Benefits.
Yeah,
with
Friends with Benefits. Yeah, that's what I was saying, and like. Yeah, I like that movie a lot, and then he started doing a bunch of these high-profile roles and stuff, so it kind of took some of his attention off of his music, and I think that kind of hurt him in some ways, because some of his more recent stuff has been a little more hit or miss in that respect. Like, Man of the Woods was just, like, really bad, guys. No sugarcoating that.
I don't know what that is.
That's his most recent album from 2018, and that was a big flop for him.
There might be some music on it that I like. And you know, the thing about making music is it's got to be different each time.
Yeah,
it can't be the exact same.
Yeah, you got to evolve and stuff.
You got to shift it a little.
He took it too far. I think a lot of critics were just like not impressed at all with that.
Okay, well, I didn't hear.
But for me personally, I do like him as an actor a lot. Mm-hmm. So I would argue that he's probably green for me because I think most of his music is hit or miss. But you would probably argue the opposite. You'd say he's more orange, right?
Yeah, probably.
More talented singer, so we're going to say neutral here.
It can be either or. That's fine.
I'd say neutral in that
I'm
respect.
not going to argue.
Compromise there.
I just don't want to.
So, because I mean, I wasn't really around for the hype, you know, for him as like part of NSYNC and stuff, and seeing like, because I know of it.
I would just say that probably his singing's a little more better than his acting.
Well, let me ask you this: like,
that's what he's known
when he first went solo, like he was on like every talk show, every interview that you could muster, like MTV all the time, right? Like that was just where, like, how the culture was back then. So, but I feel you. This is another individual who my knowledge of is very, very scarce because I've never seen any of the Fast and Furious movies.
Okay, and
so I don't know any of his acting. This is Ludacris, so go ahead, Ben.
Okay, Ludacris, I first off have been a huge fan of his rapping. I had an album of his at a young age, right around my teens again.
Yeah.
But so I like his music and his acting. Probably his acting a little more now is what he's known for.
Yeah, I'd argue.
And definitely, of course, the Fast and the Furious series.
You ever see Crash?
Yes.
Crash is great.
Yes,
I do like him in that.
I'm a huge Sandra Bullock fan, and anything that she is in, I love.
Yeah, that movie in general, like, not to like go off topic, but dude, Crash is so good, and like everyone says it's so overrated, and like it didn't deserve Best Picture. If you've never seen it, you should absolutely watch it because it's pretty fucking amazing.
But seriously, you have to pay close attention to what goes on because it goes one thing to another thing to another thing, and then back to it, and it's just like. Just watch it.
The whole cast is great. Like Sandra Bullock, Matt Dillon is fantastic in it. Like
it's just like you take incredible. Your eye off that movie for a second, you're not gonna know what's going on.
Yeah, I feel you. And Ludacris is fucking amazing in it because he's just like
he's great.
His character is just like mad at everything, and he's just ranting the whole time.
So I would say his acting is a bit more stronger.
Yeah, and like for music, like. I can't really name you because I'm not too big on him, but I just think in like just general like pop culture, I don't think he's gotten a lot of big name albums out or like super recognizable songs.
My favorite song right off the bat is "What's Your Fantasy."
Okay, fair enough.
That is my favorite song and has been for as long as I've ever heard it.
He's done a lot of like features again, like we were saying earlier, like Yeah with Usher, you know, that he's on that, and they play that all the time. So
I love Usher.
Like his music is good, but I agree with you.
I would just say his acting's a bit more.
So I say we say green here. I think that's a fair spot for him. Madonna here. Nobody watching this doesn't know Madonna. Madonna is like a superstar, man. One of the biggest names in pop music of all time.
I'm just not even excited for this one.
Well, you were growing up in the 90s and early 2000s with Madonna's later stuff. So.
Yeah, her song Frozen is my favorite.
That's a beautiful
and
song.
then she did a song called Music.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Early 2000s.
So I do know her
Club,
music.
like, very EDM inspired.
I know her music more than her acting.
Oh, I do too, yeah. Like, this is one that's, like, you can't debate.
But
if you try to argue that Madonna's a better actor than she is a singer, then you are just...
I'm gonna say her singing's better than acting. I can't name anything that she's in.
Yeah, every movie that she's tried to make, whether she is an actor or director,
I'm gonna say even though her music is still not the bomb, it's still not great.
You can't walk into my dad's house and not think that.
Well,
Matt, my dad, and my mom are like the three biggest Madonna fans. So
I don't even like the name Madonna.
Yeah.
For one, like just that name alone is just like instant.
Well, and she's from Michigan, so gotta respect her.
I did not know that. Yeah. Now you just ruined my day.
So yeah, we gotta go great singer.
No, not great, but whatever. That's you.
Well, definitely a way better singer than actor, but. Yeah.
I just know her singing better, that's all.
Oh, yeah. Well, definitely what she's known for, of course.
I don't say she's great,
I just feel like...
she does dance pretty well.
Oh, yeah. Amazing dancer, too. That's the other thing. And she's done songs with a few of these people as well, like other people on this tier list, like Justin Timberlake.
We're doing another tier list on people who do singing and dancing. Which ones are they better at?
I agree. I think we should.
That'd be fun.
Because there's a lot of good ones.
That's going to be a while.
Yeah. If you have any other suggestions, leave them in the comments for sure. Oh, man, I forgot that we had her. So this is one... So let me preference for this next one.
Again,
I literally know the name of this person, and that's it.
I love this person. Again,
this is by far the one that I have the least knowledge of, and Steph knows everything that this person's done. So go ahead and introduce her.
This is the one and only Mandy Moore.
Yeah.
Again, I know her like I know Hillary Duff, basically. She is my absolute favorite by far. Again, another true, genuine person. Singing and acting, both pretty phenomenal at. I've known her music pretty much as soon as she came out. So, like, her song Candy and Crush on You, With You, all those singles from, like, the early 2000s. I really love when she started acting as well, because there was some pretty phenomenal movies that she did as well on top of that. So I would say she's a bit more neutral for me.
Okay.
I would say, because I can't say that she's better at one than the other, but then she also did the show This Is Us. And she's been pretty great on that, but sadly that one's coming to an end soon after season 6.
That's the last season. We've talked about that on this channel.
You can only have a storyline go so long before you run out of ideas. So, that was a great role for her as Rebecca. But seriously, that show is great, yes, but I think her movies are better than the show, but and I guess I'd say, like, she hasn't sang that much lately, but she's just now getting back into it. But, I mean, her singing's pretty good, too, not gonna lie. But I would just say kind of acting overall at this minute.
Alright, so...
But she's good at both. She's great at both.
Yeah, so I think you're saying green then. Stronger with actor overall.
Yeah.
I gotcha. If there was a tier for best person to pump breast milk while climbing an active volcano, I guess we would give that to...
I literally just saw that this morning, and I was like, you go, girl.
That's
you do what you gotta do.
Yeah. Next one here. I think that this is another, like, clear-cut one. Like, we don't even have to debate it, but Mark Wahlberg.
He's totally the neutral. I'm not.
No way! What are you talking about?
What?
No way, dude. No, he's exclusively acting.
But
nobody listens to his music anymore.
Okay, but from the past, no.
No way, bro. Well, if you compare all of his big movies that he's done over the years,
I
like
definitely
just
know
how
him.
recognizable
I
he is
definitely
from that.
know him more as his
He's like one of the
though.
biggest action stars of the last like decade. Transformers and
Okay,
and
I didn't
like,
even know he was in Transformers.
well, okay,
Are you sure?
yes, of
Sure.
course he was. After Shia LaBeouf left,
I didn't know.
he was in
that.
like the last two.
Well,
I can't believe you didn't know
I
that.
used to watch Transformers, but I don't remember when I stopped or when I started. I don't even know where I am in that scenario.
Well, go ahead and talk about his music, because I mean, it was more your time, I guess. But,
barely.
yeah.
I was just saying I only know like maybe a song by him, and I don't even know it right off the bat.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. But you could name a bunch of movies
But
from him.
yeah, definitely for sure.
That's what I mean. So
So okay, maybe better actor for sure.
yeah. I mean, do you even know what his band name was called?
I do, but I can't think of it. When I get put on the spot
It's
like
so
that,
stupid.
I can't remember it right off the bat. But I know
That's
if
what I
I
mean.
hear it.
Well, look right here. They
Okay.
say it. Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Oh yeah.
That's such
okay.
a stupid name.
Marky Mark. Yeah, I guess you say that's a bit
Dumb.
lame.
Yeah, I think this is like clear cut. He's dark,
I think that would
dark
have.
ocean blue.
I think honestly that would have like killed his career with the Marky Mark.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Dude.
Maybe that's why he doesn't
like his
sing
music
anymore.
is just so dated, and like he doesn't even do it anymore. Like he
Then I
hasn't
guess-
made
I
music
guess
since
that's fair that
1980.
sometimes you grow out of shit.
Yeah, so
Okay, next.
He's like clear cut. All right, Miley Cyrus here. This one's very debatable for
Ugh.
sure. You have previewed, it sounds like, throughout the rest of this video that you're not really a fan of her.
She is a hot mess.
She was.
She was when she was with that Hemsworth bro.
Yeah, Liam.
Yeah, okay, so she was fine in the early 2000s, and she kind of went downhill with her relationship with him, and she just, like, it just seriously sounded like she kind of messed herself up, and then she did that Wrecking Ball bullshit. That song, Wrecking Ball?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. She's like,
Well, you don't
making
like it?
No, it's a good song, but, I mean...
Music video.
You do not need to show yourself like that. It's kind of like Christina when she went downhill and did that Dirty video.
Oh, I don't think I know about that.
Okay, well then.
Yeah.
But shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, she
so,
definitely
like,
had like a weird period when she was doing that like kind of phase of her
yeah,
career.
where you are this childhood actress.
Like when she was like grinding on Robin Thicke at the VMAs.
Okay, but you're this
all that stuff.
childhood actress and you're known so well, and then you grow up and you do some singing and stuff, and then out of the blue, you're just like not wearing any clothes, and you're like, you're hearing tabloids that you're doing drugs and whatnot, and you're just deteriorating your whole life, it sounds like. And then you're married to this guy, on and off relationship, and then like after a year of dating, then you go and basically just like break it off again. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, so her love life sucks. But singing, she is good at it, but I mean, she definitely
You think it's more style over substance?
definitely
like,
goes really she
very provocative. And stuff.
yeah, very provocative.
Yeah.
That word, yeah.
Well, I would argue that she has made a bit of a turnaround since then, because like now in the last like 2 years, she's been doing a lot of like rock inspired stuff. Like a lot of people in the rock metal community are really anticipating that she's gonna bring rock back to the mainstream in a big way, because she's doing a lot of like
she's gonna be
Fleetwood
one of
Mac,
people
Stevie
who
Nicks
are not gonna
inspired.
grow up and have kids.
Wait, what'd you say? What?
I'm saying she's
She's
gonna
one of
grow
those
up and be
people.
one of the people who doesn't have kids.
What's wrong with that?
She's not gonna have time for that.
Oh. Well, she's always been a
She's too
hard worker.
provocative for it.
Well, and then, so, going back to her acting, too, Hannah Montana, of course, is what everyone knows her for.
I have never watched any of that Nickelodeon Disney bullshit.
Yeah, and
No.
I was definitely not really too aware of it at the time, but looking back, I mean, I respect it. Like, it was certainly a huge name. Like, if Steph even knows what Hannah Montana is, that tells you just how big it was.
I know of Hannah Montana. I've seen plenty of merchandise and things out there. Just like
and there were two movies made
just
about
like
it.
Hilary Duff is Lizzie McGuire. I do know that, but again, I never watched those kind of shows, and I still don't, and I won't ever. And you can't make me.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
I'm just saying, I know them from how they grew up, where they came from, whatever, things like that.
Yeah.
But I guess.
Well, if you want to talk about that, like Miley Cyrus has come from a musical family, you know, like
her
her dad, obviously Billie Ray Cyrus, and then her
sister,
her godmother is Dolly Parton.
Really?
Like, oh yeah, you didn't know?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Dolly Parton, you know, country music legend.
Now that I look at this picture of her right there, I kind of see a little bit of Dolly Parton in her.
Yeah, well, obviously her roots are country, Miley Cyrus, at least, before she did pop and rock and everything.
She had a really good song out, Climb, that I loved. I'm not saying that was really country, but that was my favorite song of hers.
Yeah.
And then Wrecking Ball came out. Wrecking Ball is a good song, yes. Not really a fan of the video.
We Can't Stop, and like, yeah, I mean, you could list like a ton.
Party in the USA.
Party in the USA, yeah. That's a banger. So no one can tell you otherwise.
I would say I know her music a little bit more than her acting, but I have seen a couple movies of her. I think it was in 2006. The movie called The Last Song.
Yeah, she did like, didn't she do some of those like Nicholas Sparks like rom-coms?
How she met Chris what's his name? That Hemsworth.
Liam.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did like, I think she did like some rom-coms and stuff. I think you're right.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that she's definitely more posed to the singing as well. So, yeah, I say Orange is a fair spot. Because you got to give some respect to, like, Hannah Montana, of course, just for how influential it was.
Even though I know nothing of it.
Yeah,
sure.
But definitely singing is what she's, I think, better at overall. Olivia Newton-John, another old school from the 80s here.
Yeah, not much to say about that, other than the name is just clearly from Greece.
Yeah, I mean, Greece, of course, is like what everyone knows. But
other than that, I do not know of her other than Greece. And that name's been around for God knows how long.
This is a bit of a hot take, because I think a lot of people, when they talk about, like, the technical side of things, and, like, singers from the 80s that were much more technically talented, but didn't really get the kind of recognition that they deserved in terms of like their success or their commercial success. Olivia Newton-John is always brought up as like someone that was definitely better than a lot of people gave her credit for.
She sang in Greece, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's the only time I've ever heard her sing. Never anything.
Well, she released a few like solo albums after that too, like some of her bigger singles like Xanadu and stuff like that.
Her music career did not take off as much as her movie. She sounds like this is probably the only movie she's ever been in.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying is like I think her just status over time has just been. She's both. I mean, she's released albums and she's made movies. Okay,
but
just
like
everyone else.
I just said, is that the only movie she's made since? Has she made anything else?
No, she's been in other movies, but I'm just saying they haven't been as successful. Like you just don't recognize.
Maybe she's just one of people who kind of fall off the face of the earth.
Yeah, she came up, you know, back in the day in the 70s, 80s,
as
and
you
then
get older,
pretty much,
your career just kind of downward spiral.
Well, she's also like one of the oldest people, like age-wise, on this list.
No, she is not that old. Come on, we're talking Betty White here.
No, dude, she's 72.
Okay, and Betty White's 100.
No, I mean for people on this list. She's definitely
the oldest on there.
Like her and Madonna are probably.
Yeah, but now it just seems like she doesn't do anything like either.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I say for this one neutral because she sings in Greece and she's made some albums. But again, it's kind of like a Jared Leto where it's just like, is it really all that impressive?
So she's neutral because she sang in the movie that makes it equal.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
If that is the only reason for her to be neutral, then fine.
Well, neutral could be good or bad. It could be like they're really great on both, or they're not.
No, these are all really great people. This is all positivity
except
on the neutral.
Except for Jared Leto.
So fine.
But that's what I would argue. So.
I'm not even gonna argue. Not worth it.
Well, okay, to that point again, you could argue for the next one too, Queen Latifah, because that's what she does in a lot of her movies.
Okay, I love...
She's part of
Queen
Hairspray.
Latifah is great, especially in her movie Taxi in the early 2000s.
You are the only person that has that opinion.
I love
I want you
that
to know
movie with Jimmy Fallon. Come on. So fucking dorky. It is the dorkiest movie, and she's so, like, funny badass in it.
Yeah.
And I've seen her in other movies as well, Barbershop, and I think there was another movie, I can't think of it all, because it's been a while since I've seen her.
She's done a lot of, like,
It's been a while since I've seen her do either, because other names are just kind of topping the world at the moment, but she's still a great person. I still love her.
She's still very culturally, like, relevant, because she's
she's
very...
still out there, that name, as soon as you hear it.
Another one that's, like, has an insane work ethic, but she's done a lot of TV stuff, too, like Living Single from the 90s.
I don't really know her music too well, though. I've seen her sing something, and I was kind of blown away by it, just the fact that I didn't know she did it.
Like, yeah, I would argue she's definitely a better actress of the two, because I just think, like, more people... would say that
that's what she's more
what
known
she's
for.
done, like, if you asked her, like, what is your favorite thing that Queen Latifah has been a part
You're gonna
of,
start talking
most
movies.
people would argue movies, or like TV, like Living Single, and now she's doing The Equalizer, which is a huge hit show from last year that she's the lead on, and even this late into her career too, she can still, like,
it just sounds like you know
top
more
tier,
about all of this than I do.
Some of it.
You do more research, apparently.
Well, for some things, like Mandy Moore, I could not tell you a single thing.
I just love Mandy Moore, okay?
But, I do agree with Steph on this one. Like, definitely more towards the acting. I don't think you completely write her off as a rapper, singer, but I definitely prefer her as, like, being in movies and stuff. So Green, I think, is fair.
And I think she's just really good in comedies.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like,
I think that's, like, her main
like you said,
thing.
like, Beauty Shop is, like, fucking great.
It's Barbershop.
No, hers is Beauty Shop, the spinoff.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's still in the same kind of league.
Okay, I get it, same scenario.
I think this next one, I'm gonna man solo. Pop Smoke. I don't really know if you know too much about him.
I have no idea who that is. So it's all you.
Another one, sadly, that we have to preference here at the beginning, that is no longer with us. Passed away earlier last year, which is very unfortunate, because he was super young, too. He was only 21 at the time. And definitely 100% known for his music, of course, and his come-up was with his rapping and his music, but I cannot underestimate the fact that there are some very, very good movies that he made before he blew up that are now getting recognition since he's passed away.
I'm not recognizing anything.
Well, you probably have heard a song or two on the radio by him. You just didn't know it was him. Because he's another one that's just like, since he's always, well, his label now is always dropping new albums. Like, he just put out an album this week, or his label did, Faith.
I love how a person who has passed away can put out a label, or an album, or an anything.
Yeah.
I'm just like...
It seems suspicious, huh?
It's like, you know, someone else is messing with your music. Then
that's what I mean. Like, yeah, his latest album, I haven't heard it, but I've been purposely avoiding it because I've heard nothing but bad things.
Like, I know
they've
that
just
there
completely
have
tarnished
been
his
other
legacy.
people who have passed away, and music is still coming out, and I'm just astonished by it. Like,
Juice WRLD is going to have
that's
an
almost
album.
like unfair for that to even happen. Like, why would you?
Yeah.
Like, I get you probably the person probably wanted it to come out, but like, was that his wishes?
It's just a cash grab at that point. Like, it's just all on the label.
Yeah, but then who's getting that money? Because it's not the person who passed.
No.
That's not fair now.
I mean, and like,
no
maybe
one should be making
sometimes...
music off of an artist who had passed away. That's a baloney.
Dude, if we've learned one thing from this video, it's that every industry in Hollywood or music is like completely corrupt.
Money.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
Yeah. But I mean, regardless of how you feel about that, like the Preposterous albums or anything, the music that he made when he was alive is still standing very strong and will always be something to recognize him by and to bring up his legacy.
Yeah, this is all you, buddy, because I can't
So
say.
I would say just on that account, I'm going to put him Blood Red here up with the fantastic singers and rappers we have represented. Because even though he has made some good movies, the status of his name right now will always be tied to his albums and those huge hit songs that from top 40 radio right now that are just getting constant airplay. So this is a good one for you because this gentleman was very popular when you were growing up and definitely came up around the time that you were taking notice.
Yeah, I like how you pushed that towards me.
Well, because
I know a couple of things, but not
well,
a
the
lot.
thing is with Usher, I don't know any of his acting, so that's why I figured it would be better for you to talk about.
Well,
but
okay.
this is Usher,
I
also
knew-
known as Kaylin Howard, but, now I'm joking.
Kaylin Howard. Ha ha ha.
That's
You
what
mean
everyone
Raymond?
says. Well, yeah, Usher Raymond is his real name, but no, Kaylin, they always say that Kaylin Howard looks like Usher.
That's funny. That'd be funny if Kaylin saw this now.
Yeah. The only thing I know about Usher, as far as his acting, was he was in Hustlers that we went to see, but that was like a little cameo
he was
thing.
also a judge on The Voice.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. That's right.
I don't
So he's
know.
done some TV stuff.
Yeah, a couple of things here and there, but he was specifically a show called Seven's Heaven. He was a guest star in that for a couple of episodes because I was a big fan of that show.
Yeah.
So I do know him from that, but his music is clearly a little more who he is on this end.
Like we were talking about earlier, and that's a song that's still like when that came out in like 2004 or something, and that still gets constant airplay
But
to this
there
day.
is
like, nearly 20 years
DJ
later.
Got Us Falling in Love. You
Oh,
Got It Bad.
Yeah. Pretty much anything from Confessions. Like Confessions is just one of the biggest.
Oh my God, OMG.
Yeah.
That sounds
Oh
great.
my God.
It's all great. I just love his harmony.
Yeah, he's a really good, act for performing. He's another one that you could argue for the dancing too. Like just as a performer, like he's like very, very talented.
Yeah.
I guess he's doing a Las Vegas residency, it says right there, which I didn't know. But that's actually
that is
kind of a
so
good
cool.
spot for him, honestly.
Britney did Las Vegas, and J-Lo did Las Vegas.
Celine Dion, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the joke about doing, like, Las Vegas is, like, when you're washed up and you're about to retire, you do that just as, like, one last hurrah. But, I mean, it's still not, like, a terrible, role to be in because it obviously means that you have legacy in order to do it, so.
I love his music a bit more than his acting. It's just a bit more what he's known for.
I agree. So, I'd say he goes right at the top.
Yeah.
So. And then our final one for this tier list here, arguably the most debatable of them all, is going to be Will Smith here. For me, I don't think this is even close. I think that his music sucks, honestly.
I'm gonna
But
say
that's just
he's
me.
kind of like what I thought was Mark Wahlberg for a second, where I thought he was neutral. But I'm gonna say I really, really, really love his movies more than anything.
Yeah.
His rapping, alright, here and there, not the greatest.
I literally feel like everyone in his family is a better musician than he is. Like Willow,
Really?
Willow too, but like Jaden for sure. Jaden's a much better rapper. He's much more
why do you
like
think Will
intricate and
why do you think
interesting.
Will does more movies than anything? Because that's just
Well,
kind of
that's what I mean.
is.
Like he's definitely has a better knack for acting. Which is why he's done that more.
There are so many actor singers out there that I love their acting more than anything, and I have loved him since like Men in Black.
Oh yeah, Independence Day. Dude.
Independence Day. Oh my God, my mom got me into that one.
I mean, and now he's doing like Aladdin, Bad Boys. I mean, that's
Bad
one of the
Boys
biggest
was great.
franchises.
Bad
The
Boys
Fresh
was great.
Prince of Bel-Air. Hello.
Oh God, that.
Like, dude, you can't even deny it, bro. Like, if you still try to claim that Will Smith is one of the best rappers of nowadays, like, I can't take you
You're gonna get
serious
smack
because it's just. At the time, it was fine, for what it is. But like looking back on it, 30 years later, it's so dated, dude. It's so bad. And like I was saying, like all of his other family is much more innovative and stuff. Like Jada Pinkett was doing her pop punk stuff at Warped Tour, and like that still holds up really well. Willow now is doing the rock stuff and the kind of pop punk too in her mom's footsteps.
Willow does that show with her mom, the Red Table Talk.
That too.
And her grandma,
yeah.
which I think is great. I like that because I've watched quite a few episodes, honestly, from my phone. And there's some stuff that really brings me in. I mean, they go pretty deep.
Yeah.
At that table. They have some pretty serious talks.
Yeah.
And
the whole
it's the whole enchilada.
Entanglement.
The whole enchilada about a lot of different people and a lot of different subjects.
Yeah.
And it's very personal.
The whole family is very talented in general. Like they're just fun, you know.
Like Willow just seems like a great person in general to just know. She just sounds really cool.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and I mean, obviously, no disrespect to Will Smith at all.
Oh, no.
That, but like, I just you can't. I don't know. I just always been a huge like denier of his music. Just like I just don't really like it.
I just loved his movies straight up.
Yeah,
and
no
I mean,
that,
anytime that he's got a movie coming out, I'm still happy to see it.
Yeah.
But Happiness of Pursuit, or however you say it, like that
Pursuit
movie,
of Happiness.
That was my probably
7 pounds.
That was okay. That was
so
one
many,
of my least favorites, honestly.
Oh, how about I, Robot? You ever see that? That's like a good action movie. He's done a lot of different genres too. Like he's done the action stuff, comedies, all different types.
Yeah.
So that is the final list here as we go through and wrapping up this video here. Most of them landed in either the Fantastic Singers overall or neutral, which is pretty surprising. Not as many actors overall on this, but still quite a few that you might be surprised by. Let us know in the comments what you thought of this list, if you agreed or disagreed with it, and any suggestions you might have for future ones we could do. So, anything else you want to end with?
Yeah, basically just the suggestions, because we're always up for that.
Yeah. I like doing tier lists, but I like doing them more with like other people, so that's why I haven't done any solo in a while. But yeah, this one was good. This is good to do.
Yeah. So peace out.
Alright, thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.